Yeah.
And I'm going to scroll my notes down to the other one. Okay, now I'm going to, I guess, go intro again. Man, I haven't done multiple intros, I think, since we used to make our silly TV shows, right?
Hey, man, we
Yeah.
could totally mention that. I don't
Oh,
mind.
that'll come up somewhere. So
Okay.
okay. Anyway, welcome to Audio Hygiene, a podcast where we look into educational films, avant-garde films, strange documentaries, and the like. This is Matt.
And this is Andrew.
Yes, sorry, I just assumed you'd come on with that. You so this is our first recording session, and I was like, you choose one. You didn't have one started in mind. You needed some blood, which we do get in the second shot of this film. The blood's already there in the second shot, so I think we delivered. This is
Yeah,
this is the last prom. I should mention it's a remake.
that's
Uh,
right.
there was one done I think in the 50s. Also, people like that one, but that one's in black and white. You wanted blood, and I all around prefer this 1980 version. This is one of the ones that I literally do show up at people's parties and make them watch. So the last one we did, it was my first time. This one I've seen too many times.
Oh, cool. Good. Okay.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what I was when I was flashing you that disc earlier. It's on the driver's ed disc, right?
Now,
So
do they label this as 1980? Because I've read that this was actually a 74, but maybe I'm mixing it up with some other one though.
it may have been remade several times. Although now that I'm thinking about that powder blue tux, I'm like, okay, 74 sounds right too.
I mean, it may have been released, or when it was made, they may have just used out of date clothes. I mean,
Yeah,
that's totally possible. Anything's possible.
I think
But yeah,
yeah.
I wanted blood because when I think of educational films, I think of the scare films, the highway safety ones, and I think of the I don't know. This sort of falls into not really necessarily juvenile delinquency, but definitely like uh, what would be the cautionary tale.
The bad influences, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So no, we got I guess the star of this I guess is Sandy the girl, although the one that sticks in your head of course is Phil Donovan who must have a enormous cock.
They do all look like they're about to be in a porn. I
Yeah.
mean, when he asks her to prom, then she goes home all happy. You just it's the overall quality of it, the time in which it was made. It just seems a little pornographic, but also like an
That was their
exploitation
night
film.
job.
It could be. I mean, who knows, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, because they need often those folks into other jobs. I had a friend, a coworker, watching the first season of Next Gen. He's like, "Why do they keep landing on the planet of the adult film stars?" Because especially the first season, like it's like there's several episodes they go to a planet. Everyone looks like they do Skinamatics at night. So
I mean, they might have,
well,
and
not might they most surely did. I
they
think.
definitely did. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had your like Shannon Worry in there or something like that, or
As extras,
Shannon
that sort of
Tweed.
thing. Yeah, I guess the thing, the charm of looking at this particular iteration, I think it was remade after this too. Of course, are those ridiculous styles with the powder blue tux. They're driving around in that 70s Ford van, which you think would be a monster, and with the teardrop window. I think
Yeah, yeah.
that was
Well,
drummer Dan's van, wasn't it?
it was, it was. Well, teenagers realistically would be driving a car that's old because the one of the major ironies is that you want the kids to be safe when you give them a car or get them a car, but more often than not, kids were given old cars because they were seen as expendable. The cars, not the kids, but they were often made with less safety in mind than a newer automobile.
Yeah. So anyway, it's good for the classic cars. I'm also thinking. I've already mentioned the tux. I didn't mention dresses. This may be that one like shining moment in history where like dude fashion was like cooler.
I
This is
mean,
I just talked about Buck Rogers yesterday. You know, Pamela Hensley just eventually starts running around naked in what's supposed to be like a kids movie. So,
Oh, dude, I need to watch more Buck Rogers. Apparently, no, I thought they were very out of Carrie. You know, the De Palma's Carrie.
this
Just sort of
definitely has that feel.
yeah. But again, these, I feel like it's probably was spot on for what a real teenager would be wearing. You know, you don't want to, make this too out of the realm of possibility, or too unrecognizable for students that would be watching this.
Another, I guess this is a big anachronism, is the live band at the prom. that's
No,
not gonna that's not gonna happen much anymore.
no. Now, do we need to do the synopsis of this one, the plot of this
Oh,
one?
I almost feel like the title does it, but yes, good thinking there. Let's go for that 4 or 5 TV guide summary. I need to start encoding those words for myself there, so go for it.
Sure. Yeah. This one, The Last Prom, is the tragic story of a girl who was not going to go to prom because she just got out of a relationship with her boyfriend. But there's another boy that asks her, and she gets so happy. She says yes. But of course, alcohol plus car equals gore.
That's the end of the summary. Okay, gore. We end with the gore. We do. Well, there's a funeral, but yeah.
I mean, that's the aftermath. But what we're looking for here, like I said, when you were first into educational films, I just immediately went, where is Mechanized Death? Where is Signal 30? I've always heard about these ones, and I want to see them because they're the ones that were notorious for being gory. But I think you showed me one about safety on the job, one about a
Yeah.
construction or a
We're getting
machine
to
worker.
that one. Don't get me wrong. That one's
Okay,
coming.
that's one I haven't forgotten, and that was many, many moons ago. But yeah, I wanted to see one that had some gore to it, and you sure chose a great one. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff about it. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
You mentioned mechanized death in Signal 30. I think this actually is my favorite vehicular horror film.
Oh yeah,
Well, I mean, in the educational sense of the word.
yeah. No, why?
Otherwise,
Why is that?
otherwise it'd be a Maximum Overdrive, right?
I'm sure. Yeah. No, I'm curious what it is about this one, because I feel like you do get payoff in that whole the car accident scene, but I feel this movie is mostly set up with getting you into the personal life of its main character and
We
all of
talk
that.
about how these films have no pretense, and like no one's even trying to act in this one, like at
No,
all.
well, they're trying to, you're compressed time, right? Because you're
Yeah,
supposedly supposed to give the class time to discuss it, but really, I don't think teachers did that for the most part. I think they just put these on as a either a
nap time.
boredom thing, or just a time to sit and chill while they did something else. But yeah, these are, what was this one, like 20-ish minutes?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you gotta be, it's all about economy.
it's
For
perfect
these
perfect for a cat nap. Actually,
yeah.
I didn't sleep through these things in like elementary, junior high, or high school. I was sitting there watching them. It wasn't until university I started taking naps, and that's because I'd like run across campus. I'd sit down. It's the university, so they got like a comfortable chair. The lights are down, and
Yeah, no, if I sat in the very back of the classes, I was definitely going to fail that class.
yeah. So no, I was like right up front, but they like I just remember because I actually wanted to watch. There was like a history film. I actually wanted to see it, and I just could not stay awake. But
Oh, I only have a vivid memory of one other than seeing Eyes on the Prize, which is definitely not in the realm of what we're talking about. But I the only like educational film that would fit into this that I saw, I wish I knew the name of it, because I would so want to watch that like right after we record. It was the one we saw at Fernbank for sex education when I was in 5th grade.
yeah, I mean, I saw something in the first grade which had like kids going to some weird magical tent in the middle of the desert or something. I still don't. There's one that I think might have been it, but it still doesn't have that full like. Yes, that's the movie I'm thinking of.
No,
Maybe that's part of my weird search too. I'm always searching for that particular film.
Well, look for this one. Yeah, they put the boys in one classroom, the girls in another classroom, and the one we watched, they were like, if you laugh, we're gonna send you to the bus, and you're gonna have to sit with the teacher while these other kids get sex education. And you can't tell fifth grade boys don't laugh, and then proceed to show them an animated penis having an erection and making little doo-doo-doo sound effects when the blood goes through the side view cross section of the dick. I mean, it's just you remember that Beavis and Butthead where we will be talking about the penis? Beavis and Butthead just turned purple because they can't laugh, and it was very much like that. But I wish I could find that one. That would be great. But I loved, Last Prom really played for me like a little mini exploitation film.
Yeah, that's probably why I like it, despite the fact that the gore is, kind of the front and the back ends, right? Like you said, the middle's following the kids around. So
yeah, the beginning shows a busted window and a tiara sitting on the seat.
Yes. Well, you have to think about all the horrors. These teenagers would have been dead like long before in Japanese roads, by the way. They're all narrow, and yeah. It's weird. Like I don't think I could handle like a full-on interstate anymore, especially not like in Atlanta or something. But I can navigate these like insane narrow roads now.
Well, I mean, and just like cars back then, I don't think safety was a super big issue in terms of infrastructure. I want to say, back then when this was made, a lot of the roads probably were about the same they were like, I don't know, 50 years before that.
Yeah. Which maybe that's the case on some of these Japanese roads too.
Could be.
Yeah. You're asking me the other thing that this particular film got me. It's the soundtrack. It seems like that robot from the last Transformers Last Night is like always singing just off screen. I don't know if you saw that one, but
yeah, I did. I was told that was the good one.
No, that's the only thing I liked about the movie. The robot that's like singing off screen.
You know who that was? This one is covered in a reference book I have about educational films from that era. And those were a chorus from a high school, which makes it even more ghoulish to think about.
Yeah, I mean, in our Sci-Fi podcast, one of the things that makes the original Godzilla work is the creepy, schoolgirls singing. So
yeah, but it straight up reminded me of, if not the score for Cannibal Holocaust, the score for Make Them Die Slowly, both Italian cannibal films. That creeps me out so much. I mean, but knowing that they were high school students singing it, and this is a movie about high school students dying violently, that to me adds a little layer of.
And there's another piece of the music where I think it's when she's dancing around because she's happy she has a prom day, and I'm like, okay, that straight up is a Fender Jazz bass and a Fender Rhodes there. That's hip.
Okay, cool. I was gonna ask you, was any of the music like particularly cool in any of these, because most of it is like library stuff, I think, when you go out to the older, but this being mid to late 70s, let's say, they definitely they didn't want kids laughing at it.
There were artists, especially in the 70s, specifically making that library music, though. There were actually a few artists known for that. I had a CD, Cinemaphonic, Cinema Soul or something like that, has a naked lady on the cover.
Oh God, I gotta get this.
Yeah, I can at least send you the MP3s or something. But yeah, it's all like like, but it's people that specifically made that for this kind of use. So
now I know the actors just got paid a regular scale rate and not the scale of Hollywood. This is just like a hey kid, or
could have been cash on the barrelhead. I don't know.
Yeah, it probably was. It probably just give them a 20 or something like that. I guess it would have to do with how many scenes you had to appear in. But the music, so anyway, so they're not getting royalties on this stuff. But as far as the music, I mean, is that going to be public domain out of all this stuff, or does somebody actually own it?
I'm not sure. Maybe there's like a much lower rate. It's like especially 80s, 90s television, sometimes they'd have a famous song, but they'd have like the karaoke version playing because that you still have to play the publishing rights, but you don't have to pay the rights for the recording. So
yeah, no, I'm curious about that because I know Something Weird, which was the source for me at least for a lot of this stuff and old B-movie stuff when I was first buying tapes through the mail. They now offer like some double LP, set of music that's from a lot of their releases and stuff.
And I know for releasing, especially on DVD or Blu-ray, they're like there was a lot of trouble releasing shows like Northern Exposure, WK, Cincinnati. I just lost the letters.
Yeah, WKRP. You're very
Thank
close.
you. Okay, I can't do letters, as you know. But
Right.
yeah, both those shows, like, they're kind of released when they kind of like subbed songs, but in those shows, the song they were using was like pretty important most of the time. So
Yeah, no, it's
the licensing for those shows became like a pretty major bear. And I know
I-
Northern Exposure when the first season came out, it was like 2 discs and it was like $50 basically because they went ahead and paid for all the licensing.
oh God. And then there was uh the it was very infitting with the show itself. Married with Children was not able to license Love and Marriage, the Sinatra, for anything past I think the second season. And so now if you watch it or buy it, you're getting the Muzak version of that Married with Children theme song.
Oh, ouch.
They couldn't afford their own shit.
Is it the Beastie Boys that screwed all this up for everyone?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I only watched the documentary once, but I'd be interested in that aspect of it because I'm pretty sure the actors in this stuff were just, they were just regular people, and the music, that chorus that you hear, yeah, it's just high school students. I'm sure they just record them. Nobody ever saw a cent.
Yeah, of course, the one actor, like Phil Donovan is such a perfect asshole,
Yeah,
So he does stand out among all these NPCs, basically.
Yeah, but he's just so much like anyone who looks up Last Prom on YouTube to watch it, because people will, because they do want to see that violence. You're gonna just recognize this as being very much in keeping with the kind of movies that there ended up being like a psycho killer or a monster or something like that. I mean, this has the feeling, the look, the atmosphere of I kept thinking about Last House on the Left, even though that one's a little more rough in the verite style. This felt very much like out of that framework of the the rougher movies that were coming out in exploitation market around the time when this was made, actually.
And the one thing here, I mean, a lot of it's super like put the camera here, stand in front of the camera, do some acting, right? But
Yeah.
when Phil is drunk driving, they definitely got him some nice intense, underlit face.
They
just
did.
a little bit of production charm there, I guess.
Yeah, no, this film truly kicks in for me when they decide to all leave the prom together. The friends get in his van, and we know that they've been drinking already because we've seen them at the prom, like hiding the flask and stuff. But when they're literally like throwing beers around the van and all of that stuff, you know where it's going.
I mean, I guess Sandy didn't have her license yet.
I don't know. I mean, it was poor Sandy. The way that they showed the car crashing, though, I mean, this was actually a lot better than I expected it was going to be, to the point where I do know that some highway safety films did pay ambulance drivers and coroners and stuff to let them drive around with them to film bodies. And I know that some of them like actually gave them cameras and said, "Hey, man, film this stuff for me, and I'll pay you for it." But this was obviously all, of the Caro syrup variety and things like that. But I still felt, because of the way it was shot, very convincing.
Yeah. Did you head to any proms when you were in high
Yeah.
school? Okay.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, definitely, dude. I definitely did. I have spring formals and Halloween dances. That was the fault of the band. I never went to those things until I had long hair, and then I was at all of them.
Okay. Yeah, I think I only went to one actual prom. My vehicular not mistake there is I was being a dick, and in the streets of Atlanta someone was following me, and it was mostly accident, but I just kept making him run like every red light.
Oh my God, what is this story you're telling? I mean, did you have someone with road rage because of the way you were driving?
No, a friend, another couple were following us, and just in the car behind us, like we are going to the prom in downtown Atlanta.
All right, I thought you were saying. Okay.
No. Someone that was supposed to be following me, I just felt like a dick because like every time I get like right to the light, it would turn yellow. So, and I guess they were timed pretty much at the speed I was driving, so I made them run like 5 red lights. But I did
That's
it
great.
later, so I guess that didn't bug them too much.
Yeah. Oh, that could have been the start to one of these films.
Yeah, really, that's what I thought. Um,
Matt didn't pull over to the side or slow down at the caution light. He chose to fly through. Or, then the people following you get lost and then it's trespass.
yeah, and it's all those
Or no,
confusing
Judgment
one-way
Night.
streets.
Then it's Judgment Night, not trespass.
Yeah, and then Atlanta has all those like confusing one-way streets. So yeah, you end up going in
Yeah.
circles.
Not a if you were to see an aerial view of it was just looks like just mush. It
Yeah,
makes no sense.
but yeah, with their mistake was slamming cheap beer. I mean, they had vodka at the dance, so no one gets a hangover from vodka.
Yeah, you
Don't hold me to that statement.
you know what's going to happen. And I think to keep kids from like laughing at this stuff, because they would, and maybe they still did even after the blood, but it's horrifying. I
It's
mean,
an
it like
intense crash.
yeah, it really is. And you see who goes through the window because even if the driver and the passenger had seatbelts on, a van like this doesn't have, seatbelts in the back. These kids that are back there behind the driver, they just get launched.
Right. But and then the entire prom comes over to Rubberneck. So
I couldn't believe that. I'm like, how did all these kids get here so quickly? Like everybody from the prom is now just standing there. Yeah, they're looking at them like, oh, looking at the gore and stuff as they pull these bodies out, and they're close ups. I mean, it's not like Herschel Gordon Lewis style either. The blood looks realistic. All the smashed glass. I mean, I thought they did really, really well in showing them being loaded up, and some of the narration I wish I could remember. Some of the stuff they say is almost comedic, like borderline comedic. Like they fell like just short of making puns about death.
Yeah. So I'm guessing maybe this small town is also like downtown Atlanta with the confusing one-way streets, and they just found their way back like to right in front of the school.
Okay.
They gone, and then they were drunk. They didn't know where they're going anyway, so they just spin in a few circles and
they did some circles and came back to the school and then died. Yeah. Well, some survive. Yeah, as one inevitably does. Not everyone dies. I think only the girl from the main character dies. Is that right? Everybody else lives because they show her mother in particular, whom you recognize from the beginning, crying at the funeral. Their teacher also is there crying.
Right. They don't make it. Well, there's like 2 seats empty at the end, right?
Yeah, I think so.
He says one's not coming back for a long time, and Sandy's never coming back, right?
Yeah, okay, but the point being, the reckless driver, he lives through it. It shows him actually getting out of the car. Another girl hysterically screaming.
I wrote he has some scrote for showing up at that funeral.
Oh, I know. God, if it was a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, the family would attack whoever that was and, throw him inside the grave.
So, yeah. He mentioned the grim task of Sandy's locker, so I was guessing it's filled with pogs or something.
Yep. Probably.
But, I don't know why that went in my mind, but maybe that's why I'm saying weird stuff on the podcast. So
no, that's a good one, man. It didn't occur to me. No, but you can imagine, like, did you have driver's ed or no?
I I went to the weird other program thing, and we couldn't do driver's ed as like a normal part of the year. So I did it in the summer. Is my only time actually doing like summer school, and they sent us to another school somewhere near North Lake Mall, which was like half driver's ed and half special needs. So it was like a really bizarre experience.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't remember where we went, but it was part of the school day. So we rode a bus as an elective course. We rode a bus out to the driver's ed place, and the classroom was old as shit. And it was those desks that are like little cars. You had a steering wheel on your desk, and they had in front of you a projection screen, and they would then show, simulated. They had it all hooked up, and it was supposed to be you looking at the road, kind of like a video game, but it was all shot with camera. And then I remember being disappointed that we didn't get like the real gory scare films. You know?
I second all of those things. Same thing where
Okay.
I went. I think I also have been to the center you went to because my family friends were like one of the teachers there. So
Okay, yeah, there was a whole driving course out in the parking lot too.
yeah,
So
so
you had
it was just that, but it was it was just a different place. So
okay.
another DeKalb County, one of those.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it now, but whoa, that was. I mean, you knew it was old when you went in there. You were just like, oh man, you just see what like the smell and the color. You're just like this man. My dad's dad learned on this.
Oh, here I wrote a few things down, sort of sideways with the monologue you were talking of proms and still a grim vigil, right?
Mhm.
Just for you're talking about the almost comedic stuff. So,
Yeah, I mean, it just short of, dude, please.
but I guess 2020 at least fixed the grim vigil proms for you. So, um,
Yeah.
they try to do some needle scares, right? Like, oh, if you do this kind of crazy driving crap, you're going to get stuck with a bunch of needles.
Yeah, no, and I remember one of my favorite shots of it is our lead character whose name I keep forgetting. She is actually, her mother said, doesn't he, I've heard he drives recklessly. And what would have been a great thing, it cuts to the van going under this like, one person at a time little like tunnel, and there's a guy on a bicycle, and I was just thinking, hit the guy on the bicycle. So that would have been a great. I heard he drives recklessly, boom. But but no, when she's in the car, you don't, instead of having the moms go, I heard he drives recklessly. She's watching the needle move on the speedometer there and seeing how fast this guy's going.
Oh,
So,
that needle. Yeah, I was talking about people getting stuck in the ambulance.
oh
But
no,
yeah,
no,
that needle's worth mentioning too, of course. So
no, yeah, that actually made me think of that. But yeah, no, they show the ambulance, yeah, and the crash team and stretchers and body bag. I mean, everything, and it is borderline artistic because everything's kind of framed through that broken window.
yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, the acting's flat, the setups are flat, but someone was like putting a little thought into how this thing came together in the end.
Yeah, yeah, no, they at that time you think of all the things people had seen on television from news cameras and whatnot. Things have changed drastically from what people were seeing, in the early 60s and stuff. And so um we kind of, I say we, the kids, the people that were watching this knew what looked real. So you were something like, the old ones wasn't gonna cut it. So if they weren't gonna use real crashes, they at least needed to make it as realistic as possible. And I think it looked. I mean, it's combined with that music. Ooh, it's
So
just.
would this one have satisfied when you didn't get your gory film and driver's head? Because
Absolutely.
yeah, this is the audience. I mean, I said sometimes it's not clear who these are for. This one's crystal clear that you're showing this to a driver's ed class. So
Yeah. No.
or the
Exactly.
class just when prom's coming up, I guess. But
Yeah, it could be. It works under both. It works under the cautionary tale and the highway safety. I think more along the cautionary tale, given how dramatic it is, because it's not necessarily about driving. It's more about, yeah, the reckless behavior
yeah,
and
I
what it
guess then it
leads
would be
to.
like, Phil did not have his hand on the 2 o'clock position, and
Yeah,
thus,
10 and
yeah.
2, and thus, his swift end. But I don't see this as having been something they would have shown in a driver's ed class. I think this is more of like, yeah, like you said, around prom season, like, don't die, everybody.
Now I do remember those films that they were showing us at least, um, hit the mark in the music section. I mean, this one is a different thing, but most of those driver's ed films had that just like again the cinemaphonic electric soul sound, which was cool. So
Yeah, yeah, no,
not enough blood, but it had that.
I mean, if you're not gonna have one, the others, at least makes it worth it, I think.
Right. So I do want to dredge up one of those actual like instructional films sometimes because I guess you want to be in that weird analog machine driving your fake car to it. But yeah,
That
maybe
would be
we'll
great. People would
yeah.
love that.
Man, that would be a trippy thing for someone. I'm sure someone has that in their house. Like they get like old school driving simulator set up.
It would be, because you remember, there's still to this day all these flight simulator games that one can play. You can do them on your phone now. I think they're missing the mark with the impaired driving simulator.
Yeah. Oh, the impaired driving simulator. Yeah.
Yeah. So the controls don't quite work right. You're like, turn. Nope. You're drunk.
It's like, you don't tell me when I'm drunk.
That's right. Hey, what's this pistol in the glove box for? Game over.
Oh, just because you found it, you're gonna go on a spree now.
No, I mean, whoever finds the gun immediately points it at themselves just by nature of it. It's like, hey, what's this?
Yeah. Anyway, we got the thing in.
Yep.
I'm just having a look here if there's anything I missed. No, just lots of sarcastic notes, of course, that I wrote down. So,
hey,
I think I hit most of them. I hit most of them. No, yeah. I guess prom's a big deal in the South. I felt like I guess because of the football thing in the South, I always felt like homecoming was a little more of the marquee event.
It was. I went to more homecomings than proms.
I guess you can only do the prom the last couple of years as well. So
yeah, you got your junior and your senior. I'm pretty sure I skipped my senior prom and just went to my girlfriend's senior prom. We got that picture, but I don't think I went to my own prom.
I think it was the flip for me. I didn't go junior, I went to senior, and then senior I just made a horrible sitcom joke where I actually kind of had a girlfriend at the time who was a few years younger, but then I like took one of like in my group of friends because she didn't have a date. So yeah, that probably didn't make the other girl very happy.
Nah, but we're not operating on full capacity. We're
no, just when you see these horrible sitcom situations, like, man, I kind of did that.
Yeah, no, if I really want to knock myself down a few pegs in the self-esteem department, I can definitely think back to decisions rather that I made that were similar to that.
So
I paid dearly for them.
We'll see if this is our last prom or not. I don't know of any other prom centric films off the top of my head we'll be going into, but hey, you never know. So
yeah, no, I really like this one. That was a good choice.
Exploitation classic, yes.
Yeah, no, it really is.
It only takes 20 minutes of your time. Maybe that's one of the things here, because you want to show people Carrie. I mean, you're sitting down for the next 90 minutes, right? Where this one, it's 20 minutes. I mean, you could like half pay attention to it, and it doesn't matter that much. So
no, it would be great as a short prior to watching Carrie. I think that would be a good place for it.
Yeah. Well, wrapping up today, I guess go ahead, give that Twitter handle and so forth out.
Okay, yeah, Andrew Shearer. You can find me at Gonzoriffic, GONZORIFFIC, on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube as well, where you can see some short films that I made with my friends. I don't think we had any kind of scare films like this. Although you and I, in one of the movies that I made, which was originally called Dollface and was later renamed as Goodbye Dolly, you and I were in a car crash scene together.
Right. I don't think there was anything cautionary about the car part as in this one, though. But
no, nothing about that. We just had to pretend as though we were in a car that was crashing.
Right.
And I'll let people, decide to watch it if they want to know what caused the accident. I want to do a spoiler on that.
But as for this podcast, it'll be Audio Hygiene Pod on Twitter. If you look up Audio Hygiene on Facebook, I imagine you'll find something similar to that. And I'll just throw out now that the music I'm using for this podcast is from your erotic couch film that I made for the theme song. So
feel free to repurpose this stuff. That's your stuff.
No, I know. I'm like, that's what I record a whole collection of tunes specifically to be this kind of educational film sort of music. So
I remember the CD was the Erotic Cannibals.
Yeah, low rent 70s funk.
It worked, man. I mean, I had someone who actually was a professional recording artist that made that kind of music in the 70s say that you totally nailed it.
Except for the electro drums. It would be nice to have real drums. But hey, what can you do? Most people wouldn't notice that. So my other
Now they will.
podcast is Matt and Luke Sci-Fi Sanctuary. If you look that up on your RSS feeds or go to MLSFS Pod at Twitter or look it up on Facebook or whatever. Yeah, that was the best letter. I know I still went into a trance or something when I said them, but
You did a little bit, but it worked.
Yeah, the past couple of days I've had to get my spiel down. So
no, hey, it's good to go. I could follow it that time.
Anyway, for you, the listener, drive safe and drink your swill at home.
That's right. Drink your swill. Get faced at home.
There we go. Well, that's what a lot of people are doing now, I guess.
Oh no, we've got delivery service now from the liquor stores to
right.
your house. Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll get to stop on the recording, but